Everyone, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. Today is Monday, August 15th, and we're certainly pleased to have you all here. To start tonight's meeting, we'll start with a roll call.
Councilors Aguilar?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Entman?
Here.
Erpenbach?
Here.
Jameson? Karski?
Here.
Rolfe?
Here.
Thank you very much. We do have 7 city councilors here tonight, so we will conduct the city's business. We'd like to start tonight's meeting with an invocation. We're so pleased to have Pastor Timothy Fountain from the Church of Good Shepherd here in Sioux Falls. Once Pastor Timothy is done, we will then proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Timothy.
Well, gracious God, source of every good gift, we give you thanks tonight for County Commissioner Dick Kelly as he continues to resume full-time work after his heart transplant, as he returns to public service and local government. We give thanks tonight for the life of our Minnesota neighbor, Scott Ledoux, former heavyweight contender who died last week, but who's being remembered by his neighbors mainly for his last decade of public service in local government. And in the spirit of the New Testament, asking us to make prayer at all times for all people, and especially those in public authority, as a pleasing offering to God. Let us pray for the health of our mayor, all of our city council members, all of their families. Pray for their strength and health to flow in every area of their lives. And as we are all strengthened together, may we all work thankfully for the health, strength, and vitality of this good city in which we live. We pray this in your name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now move on to tonight's consent agenda. Council, any comments or motions?
Move approval, Erpenbach. Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Erpenbach's made a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If no further questions or comments, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfe?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Tonight's regular agenda. Council, any changes to tonight's regular agenda? Motions, please.
Move approval, Erpenbach. Second, Aguilar.
Been a motion by Councilor Erpenbach, seconded by Councilor Aguilar to approve tonight's regular agenda. Any changes? Yes, Councilor Entman.
I'd like to amend the main motion of the regular agenda by adding item number 41, and I'd like the assistant clerk to read that, please.
Very good.
A communication was received from Daniel Jameson requesting permission to consume but not sell liquor, wine, and malt beverages at the Multicultural Center, 515 North Main Avenue on Saturday, August 27, 2011, from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. for a wedding reception.
Second, Rolfe.
There has been a motion by Councilor Entman, seconded by Councilor Rolfing, on the main motion, which was just read by the Assistant City Clerk. Any further discussion? Very good. Vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfe?
Yes.
Very good. That is passed 7-0. Any further amendments or changes? Very good. We now have a amended main motion, or we have an agenda. And is there a? Let's have a vote on that, please. Sorry.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfe?
Yes.
Thank you. That is also passed 7-0. Again, I'd like to welcome all of you to tonight's City Council meeting. If there's anyone in the audience who'd like to address the council, please come forward at this time. We would ask you to keep your comments to 5 minutes. Just introduce yourself, please. And if it is an item that's on a topic that's going to happen later, we would ask you to wait until that time. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward? Welcome.
How are we doing tonight? Tim Stanga.
Welcome, Tim.
After what happened last Monday, got a lot of people that responded. And they want to thank Vernon Brown for standing up for not only what he's stood for from day one on this event center, but for just letting people know what the truth is on this event center, how it's going to be financed, whatnot. This second penny sales tax that we're going to use for the event center, a lot of people came forward to state that they were having problems paying their electric, water, sewer rates. I think we could have looked at this second penny sales tax to probably try to help the citizens of Sioux Falls dig out of the hole that they're in. After all, the citizens have put everybody up here to be their voice. I had one gentleman that had told me that if he went to the Small Business Administration with what we're going in front of with the event center, that he'd probably be laughed out of the Small Business Administration because it just don't add up. And I'm hoping that more people like Vernon are going to stand up and speak out. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Stinga. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council tonight? Very good. I do appreciate it. I did have one thing I was going to just mention. There was a group that came to my door, Kids for Peace, and they had a Kids for Peace pledge day on Saturday, and they were trying to get as many people on that day to have simple, kind deeds throughout the entire day. Just quickly, wanted to share with the city some of the signs that they presented. And then their Kids for Peace pledge read as follows. I pledge to use my words to speak in a kind way. I pledge to help others as I go throughout my day. I pledge to care for our earth with my healing heart and hands. I pledge to respect people in each and every land. I pledge to join together as we unite the big and small. I pledge to do my part to create peace for one and all. I didn't get a chance to meet those young people, but I do thank them, and I think their message is solid. Council will now move on to the rest of tonight's agenda. Item number 11.
New 2011-12 retail malt beverage license for Guadalajara 4 LLC, Guadalajara Mexican Restaurant, to be operated at 5309 West 41st Street with a conditional use permit being approved on 5/4/11, pending final inspection per health. Item 12, new 2011 retail wine license for Guadalajara 4 LLC, Guadalajara Mexican Restaurant, to be operated at 5309 West 41st Street with a conditional use permit being approved on 5/4/11, pending final inspection per health. Item 13, new 2011-12 retail malt beverage license for Ethan Ortega, New York Express Pizza, to be operated at 309 South Phillips Avenue with a conditional use permit being approved on 10/3/07. Item 14, new 2011 retail wine license for Ethan Ortega, New York Express Pizza, to be operated at 309 South Phillips Avenue with a conditional use permit being approved on 10/3/07. Item 15, new 2011-12 retail malt beverage license for China Express Restaurant LLP, China Express Restaurant, to be operated at 2302 West 41st Street. Item 16, new 2011-12 retail malt beverage license for Francisco Resendiz Tacos Lupe, number 3, to be operated at 802 East 10th Street. Item 17, new 2011 packaged liquor license for Come and Go LC, Come and Go, number 620, to be operated at 412 North Sycamore Avenue. Item 18, rescind 2011-12 packaged malt beverage license for Come and Go LC, Come and Go, number 620, 412 North Sycamore Avenue. Item 19, special one-day liquor license request for SMG to be operated at the Sioux Falls Arena, 1201 Northwest Avenue on October 19, 2011, for the Timberwolves preseason game March 28, 2012, for the Central Plains Dairy Expo, all 2011-12 home season games for the Stampede, all 2011-12 home season games for the Skyforce, including Stampede and Skyforce possible playoff games between April 1st and May 31st, 2012. Item 20, special one-day liquor license for Great Bear Recreation Park Incorporated, Great Bear Recreation Park, to be operated at 5901 East Rice Street for the Teddy Bear Den fundraiser on September 25th, 2011. Item 21, special one-day liquor license for Sanford Health to be operated at the Sanford Center, Great Lawn, 2301 East 60th Street North for a community celebration and fundraiser on August 19th, 2011. Item 22, special one-day liquor license for the Realtors for Kids to be operated at the Multicultural Center, 515 North Main Avenue, for the fall fundraiser on September 22nd, 2011. Item 23, amend request approved on 7/18/11 for a special one-day liquor license for Washington Pavilion Management Incorporated, Washington Pavilion, 301 South Main Avenue, for the South Dakota Trust, changing from the date from September 20th to September 19th, 2011. Item 24, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Catering America, Inc., Chef Dominique's, to be operated at the Old Courthouse Museum on September 10th and 24th, 2011, for wedding receptions. Item 25, special one-day wine license for Senior Citizen Services, Inc., to be held at Active Generations, 2300 West 46th Street, for the Cocktails and Canvas art class on September 20th, 2011.
Welcome, Lori.
Thank you. Lori Hogstead with the City Attorney's Office here for items 11 to 25. And I should say thank you, Denise, for reading through all those. Items 11 through 18 are a variation of new licenses to be requested and issued. And then items 19 through 25 are special one-day requests. I can answer questions on any of these, and we do have some applicants in attendance for the rest of the items.
Council, any questions for Lori?
Mr. Mayor, I need to excuse myself.
Councilor Heineman, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to any of these items? Council, would anybody like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move
Yeah,
approval on 11 through 25 and then handle, or actually, let me rephrase that. Let's approve item 21, move approval on item 21, and then Councilor Antomin can come back in on the others.
Very good. There's been a motion to approve item number 21 by Councilor Brown.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Any discussion on that? A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Erpenbach? Yes. Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 6-0.
Now I'll move to approve items 11 through 25.
There's been a motion to approve items 11 through 25, excluding item number 21. Is there a second?
Second, Rolfing.
Seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Is there any further discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Folks, we're now going to move on to item number 26, but before we do, I wanted to just let you know, these are a series of first readings, so you won't have an opportunity to address the council tonight, but they will be presenting you with a date in the future where you can come to that second reading to address the council. The first reading is an opportunity for people of the administration to outline what it is that they're proposing, as well as answer any questions. So we will now proceed with item number 26.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at East 26th Street and South Canyon Avenue from the RS2 Residential District to the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2011-06-11, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Good evening. I'm Mike Cooper with Planning and Building Services. Tonight we have 5 items that are being recommended by the City Planning Commission from their last regular monthly meeting. The first item, 26, is a petition by Van Buskirk Companies. They are the developers of an area called Copper Creek Addition, and this is located east of Highway 11 and south of East 26th Street. This is a combination of residential, office, and commercial development. And there's a property that's approximately 1/2 of an acre in size located south of East 26th Street that is a drainage area, and we're just updating the zoning map to reflect that that drainage area will be zoned as recreation conservation rather than residential.
Council, any questions? Councilor Olfen?
Isn't that new school going out there, or there's school that's going to go out there, or in that area? Or that's where the fire station is going to be?
Yeah, it's farther to the east, but it's not in this particular
Okay,
area. Yep.
okay, thank you.
Farther east and south.
Council, would anybody like to set a hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 6th at 7 p.m.?
So move Anderson. Second Entenmann.
A motion by Councilor Anderson Jr., seconded by Councilor Entenmann on item number 26. Further questions, comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That's passed 7-0. Item 27.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at South Grange Avenue and West Village Drive from the RA2 Residential District to the C4 Planned Commercial District and the I1 Light Industrial District to the RA2 Residential District, the C4 Planned Commercial District and the I1 Light Industrial District. Petition number 2011-0706 and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition from the Dunham Companies, the current owners of the property. This is located south of 41st Street and east of Grange Avenue. It's approximately 26 acres of land. The City Council has previously approved zoning amendments on this property that reflects a combination of future commercial, multifamily residential, and light industrial development. It also was based on a proposed street layout with two roadways that would extend east of Grange Avenue. The owner-developer is now looking at modifying the boundaries of these zoning districts as well as the previous subdivision plan that was approved. And so that's the purpose of this zoning request, is to modify the boundaries, which would still include primarily commercial on the north side, multifamily residential to the east, and then the central area along Grange Avenue would go back to the original I-1, which is what this property was zoned for some time. There were some questions raised about what the future I-1 uses potentially could be. And in my discussions just today with the applicant, indicated that we would like to have more information presented to the City Council at the second reading. But the intent of the light industrial is really not proposed so much for manufacturing or even warehousing, but potentially for a use that we call personal services. And personal services would be, could be health related, it could be recreation related, it could be a variety of commercial type uses. And with this zoning, they would have to go through a conditional use permit request that would be considered by the Planning Commission. So I indicated to the applicant that when we present this to the City Council at second reading, we would like to have a little more explanation of what the proposed intent is. And there potentially could be a conditional use permit application for the next Planning Commission pending your approval of this zoning amendment. So that's a kind of a long explanation of what we would like to see happen at second reading with this item.
Councilors, any questions? Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
Mike, how is this going to fit in with our development of 49th Street in that area?
Yeah, the 49th Street would not be impacted by this. It's a little bit to the south of this, so that will be compatible with the future extension of that roadway through there.
Okay, thank you.
You can just barely see the old railroad right-of-way that's to the south of the exhibit.
Councilor Rolfing.
Mike, the other question, two questions I have. One is the soil. That's all been tested
Yes,
and
there's a clean
it's clean in there.
review of the soil conditions, so there are not any contamination issues for future development.
Okay. And secondly, assuming that does happen, that we would okay this, and that light industrial comes out and the planning board says, yeah, go ahead and build something in there, does that still have to come back to us to be approved?
The conditional use permit would typically just go to the Planning Commission unless it's appealed by some citizen.
Because what are the other things that, you say health care or whatever, what are some of the weird things that could happen with that?
I would say we have an I-229 overlay district. We have other design guidelines in this area that would limit the potential. It would not be heavy manufacturing or outdoor storage. Those kind of things would not be allowed.
Well, there's storage right across the street to the east of that.
Yes, and that's under some of the older regulations that we've had in the past.
But give me an idea, what's the worst-case scenario that could go in there? Can you do that?
The worst case, I guess, depending on your definition, could be warehouse. It could be some type of manufacturing use. It would not be an auto salvage use or anything like that. This would be similar to potentially what you see up in the north end with the development, industrial parks, under that I-1 zoning. The I-2 zoning is the one that would have the more heavier, more nuisance uses. And
Is there
again,
a
there's a portion of this that is currently zoned I-1 now. So we're just kind of changing.
Yeah, but none of it is being used for I-1. It's all,
Correct.
it's all offices and retail.
Right.
And my question is there a better zoning category for this to keep that out?
I don't
mean,
think so, because again, I think once we've heard from the applicant at the second reading, you'll have a higher comfort level of standards and protections that we have in place. And because of the acreage size, again, there's going to be additional public hearings required for the development.
Yeah, but these things have a habit of changing hands and changing over the years, and that's been sitting there a long time. So,
Yep, I agree.
Councilor Karski.
Mike, who could appeal a conditional use? What's the parameters, the distance away from?
There's no distance. It's anybody can appeal.
Anybody can,
Yep.
so it doesn't have to be next door or
Right.
even on the next block. It could be any distance away.
Correct.
Okay.
Councilor, does anybody like to set a hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 6th for item number 27?
Move to set the second reading, Intamin.
Second, Erpenbach.
I've got a motion by Councilor Enneman, seconded by Councilor Urbanbach to do just that. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intamin?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
yes.
It's passed 7-0. Item 28.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West Benson Road and North Marion Road from the RA1 Residential District and O Office District to the RS2 Residential and the RC Recreation Conservation District, petition number 2011-0710, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition by Van Busker Companies, the owner of this development, referred to as the Hazeltine Edition. It's located on North Marion Road, on the west side of Marion Road, and on the north side of West Benson. This is a development that was approved a number of years ago with the idea that it would be a mixed use of residential, single-family residential, office, some commercial. And since the time of the original rezoning, the developers have now identified that they think the market is changing out in this particular area, that there's going to be more demand for more single-family residential. So essentially what you are being asked to do is to decrease the density by changing the boundary lines of multifamily and office and changing those to more single-family residential. And this is about 103 acres of land area that's being impacted.
Council, any questions at all? Councilor Rolfing.
Does that mean more manufactured homes? Is that what they're planning here?
No, this would
or
be traditional single-family,
stick
yes.
homes kind of thing? Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, Councilor
Move
Enneman.
that we set the second reading for Tuesday, September 6th.
Thank you, Councilor Enneman.
Second, Anderson.
There's been a motion made and seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. on item number 28. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intamin?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 29.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at West Madison Street and North Valley View Road from the RS2 Residential District to the RD Residential District, petition number 2011-0711, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a petition by Clint Ackerman, the developer of this area, known as Lally Estates Edition. It is located on the north side of West Madison Street and the west side of North Valley View Road. This is about 11 acres of land that's being requested for a zoning change. This is kind of the opposite of the previous item, whereby the original zoning for this particular area was proposed to be single-family residential or twin homes. And now the developer has seen a change in the market out in this area and is looking at more of the 4-unit townhomes that is very popular right now. We're seeing a number of developers get into this market. And so the request is to change the zoning so that these 4-unit townhomes could be constructed in this particular area. And this is about 11 acres of land area.
Council, any questions? Would anybody like to make a motion to set a hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 6th for item 29?
So moved, Brown.
Second, Erpenbach.
Thank you. Councilor Brown has made that motion and seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Any further comments? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 30.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2011-0713 to Chapter 15.45.070, Plan Development Districts at 1000 South Sycamore Avenue, amending the Celebrate Community Church Plan Development District sub-area regulations. The Planning Commission recommends approval, 5-1.
This is a petition by the Celebrate Community Church, which is located on the east side of Sycamore Avenue, adjacent to near 18th Street. The church has been in this location for some time, and they originally were approved as a planned development district because of, obviously, it was a new use for this particular neighborhood. And under that planned development, the traditional church-related uses would be allowed, such as the worship center, counseling, daycare, fitness, and even office uses. The church is now looking at expanding their potential services to the area by having retail uses that would be open to the public, such as a bookshop and a coffee shop. And so the petition that has been submitted to the council would be to add retail, trade, and service as an accessory use into the planned development zoning. It's kind of an interesting mix of uses that we really haven't seen before. They're even talking about potentially having a drive-up window along the Sycamore Avenue access. Again, that would have to be worked out with traffic engineering and others as to how that might work in the future. But this would allow retail, trade, and service as long as it was accessory to the main use as a church into this particular zoning district.
It's interesting, Council. Any questions?
Move to set the date of hearing for Tuesday, September 6th.
Second, Intiman.
Councilor Brown has made a motion to set that second reading for Tuesday, September 6th on item 30. It was seconded by Councilor Intiman. Any further questions? Roll call, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Passed 7-0. Item 31.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing supplemental appropriations for CIP number 148014, right-of-way acquisition for public works, $512,075.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Let me take you through tonight just brief slides. This is not actually additional appropriation. This is tonight to recognize a reimbursement of funds that we used for a joint project with the DOT and the city. Next slide, please. This is a key project in the area near I-29 and I-229 that really starts to open up the transportation options so we can take load off intersections like 57th and Louise. Today, the area that's in magenta, the purple, that's under construction, The blue has been designed and ready to go to letting, and we're close to finalizing, we hope we're close to finalizing all the right-of-way acquisitions. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right, let me speak to some of the items. This is what we call a state transportation improvement project. When we work together with the DOT, we essentially, the city, designs the project up to the interstate right-of-way, and then the DOT will design the structure that spans the interstate. We also, if right-of-way is required, we sit down with the DOT and lay out roles and responsibilities, and oftentimes the DOT will execute the right-of-way or the city. It's about a 50-50 split. On this one, since with conjunction with the planning department, since we work with a lot of these landowners, we said that we would execute the right-of-way. We still follow all the federal guidelines. We have closed with the edges, which is in the north and west. The Department of Transportation is a willing partner since they are a part of the project. And then medical development, we've also closed with them. We are currently in negotiations with interstate crossings. But tonight recognizes the funds that we've expended out of the city's second penny sales tax right-of-way account to fund the purchases for the edges and the medical development, with the understanding that the DOT would reimburse us, and they have. The check's in our account with Tracy Turback. So tonight we're just asking to basically refund that into our capital plan so we can put those dollars to work. And the total, as it was stated, is just over $512,000. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Mark. Council, any questions on this one? Councilor Enneman?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second, Karski.
Councilor Enneman's made that motion, seconded by Councilor Karski to set a hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 6th for item 31. A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Passed 7-0. Item 32.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a permanent 40-foot utility easement in Lot 1A and Block 5 of Grand Arbor Village addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Lincoln County, South Dakota.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division of Public Works. This easement is north of 85th Street and east of Western Avenue. It was granted by plat in October of 2010. The utility locations in this area have been revised, and this easement is no longer needed.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Rolfing, thank you. Motion has been made to set a hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 6th for this item, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Passed 7-0. Item 33.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of permanent easements in Lot 2, Block 1, the Edges addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Tract 1, except Lot H1, the Edges addition to the City of Sioux Falls, and Lot 1, except Lot H1, Block 6, Interstate Crossing Business Park addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Lincoln County, South Dakota.
This easement, again, is north of I-229 and east of I-29. The private utilities that were in this easement have been relocated to new private easements, and this easement that we have is currently no longer needed.
Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Intiman.
Councilor Rolfing's made a motion to set a hearing and second reading for Tuesday, September 6th for this item, seconded by Councilor Enneman. A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Passed 7-0. Item 34.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a permanent storm sewer and drainage easement in Tract A of Red Rock Park, Second Addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
This easement is north of Arrowhead Parkway and west of Powderhouse Road. It was granted by plat in July of 2004. The city and the Department of Transportation have constructed and maintained drainage facilities east of this area in the public right-of-way, and this easement is no longer needed.
Move to set the date of hearing for Tuesday, September 6th at 7 p.m.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Brown, thank you. As Councilor Brown made that motion, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intamin?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 35.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a portion of permanent water and sanitary sewer easements in Lot 1, Friesen's addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
This easement is south of 12th Street and east of Valley View Road. It was granted by plat in October of 1998. The utilities that were in this easement have been relocated to new private easements, and this easement is no longer needed. And I will just highlight the area in yellow is the easement to be released. The area in orange is an existing easement that will stay on this property.
Move to set the second reading to Tuesday, September 6th. Intamin.
Second, Anderson.
Thank you, Councilor Inman. He's made that motion, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intamin?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
It's passed 7-0. Item 36.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, authorizing the city to enter into an interest-free loan agreement with South Dakota Housing Development Authority for the purpose of rehabilitating rental housing properties within the core incentive area up to $500,000.
Good evening, Erica Beck with the Community Development Department. Along with me tonight is Brent Tucker, the Affordable Housing Specialist within the Affordable Housing Division, who will be administering these program funds. As Denise stated, this is an ordinance that will allow the city to take on $500,000 of interest-free funding for up to 20 years from the South Dakota Housing and Development Authority. We're really excited about the opportunity to partner with the Housing and Development Authority. They understand what our needs are within the Pettigrew Heights neighborhood in particular, and also understand that this money will be put to good use to assist good landlords in that neighborhood to improve the quality of the housing within that area. Just as a reminder for everyone, because I think that people forget this sometimes, but specifically with regard to the Pettigrew Heights neighborhood, 70% of the residential units in that neighborhood are rentals. And so while we would like for there to be a better balance of single-family owner-occupied housing and rental housing, we also understand that there's always going to be a rental element within our core neighborhoods, and that we have to do something as a city to address the standard and quality of those units in particular. And so we've heard a lot of good commentary from the Multi-Housing Association, as well as Pettigrew Heights neighbors and residents, that this will be a good program that will help us address their housing needs.
Yes, Councilor Inman.
Erica, can you tell me what is the loan, the maximum loan that you're expecting to grant?
Yep, I'm actually going to ask Brent Tucker to talk about that, and he can answer any specifics with regard to that
Great,
program.
thank you.
Good evening, Brent Tucker, Community Development. The maximum loans are going to be $25,000 per property, with a maximum loan of $3,000 to each individual property owner. We don't want to make sure that they don't get over their head to the city for more than what is necessary.
Thank you, Councilor Anderson Jr.
What type of improvements are we looking to have done? You know, we understand the outside improvements, but what other type of improvements are we looking to have these property owners be doing?
Our projects, what we're setting them up to do is typical exterior projects. The big draw is to do beautification projects for this neighborhood. So what we're looking at is windows, siding, weatherization type projects that can help save them money as well. Roofing, anything to make the exterior more presentable in the neighborhood.
If I can ask,
please,
are these residents, these buildings going to be inspected by our city inspectors first? How's this program actually going to work?
I am going to personally go out to each one of these properties to see what is actually going to be necessary for that. Some of the things that we're also going to require is if the exterior painting or the paint on the properties are in bad condition, they will be required to paint their properties. to bring it up to standards.
And that will be in the contract, whatever is required of them?
Yes, yes.
Councilor Entenmann.
Is there the payback from the landlord of this property? What type of loans, what kind of interest rate are you expecting them to pay, and what happens with that money?
Okay. What we're going to, the interest rate is going to be a 3% loan, a low-interest loan. The payback is going to be set up on a 5-year amortization. Initially, they're going to have 6 months of no interest accruing, and then they will start payments on the 7th month. And the money that does come back in is going to go into account, it's going to get repurposed, hopefully, and sent back out again.
Brent and Erica, thank you. Council, anybody like to make a motion?
Move to set the date of hearing for Tuesday, September 6th at 7 p.m.
Second, Entenmann.
Councilor Brown's made that motion, seconded by Councilor Entenmann. A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 37.
A resolution authorizing the City of Sioux Falls to gift to the City of Harrisburg 2 traffic signal controllers.
Chad.
Chad Hebe with engineering. These traffic signal controllers were purchased by the city in 1993 and used until recently. They, I'll just say they're the size of probably a small suitcase, maybe 12 inches high, 18 inches wide, and maybe 16 inches deep. And they are the brains of what run a traffic signal. Like I said, we've used these 2 up till recently. However, this equipment is obsolete. Replacement parts can no longer be obtained, and we have actually replaced these in our inventory. And so in the past, Harrisburg, when they've put up signals, they've taken surplus equipment from us and put it up, knowing well that replacement parts aren't available. And so they contacted us again. Did we have any controllers? We said yes. We've surplused them, and tonight's action will give these to them.
Move to approve, Anderson.
Second, Karski.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve item number 37. It was seconded by Councilor Karski. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 38.
A resolution authorizing the City of Sioux Falls to gift to the South Dakota Department of Corrections 2-inch diameter willow trees.
These willow trees grow naturally in our drainage channels and ponds, and they do impede maintenance, and they do impede the drainage functions of these structures. So the Department of Corrections will remove the trees out of the drainage ways, and then they're used in ceremonial activities at their facilities in the state. The city and the Department of Corrections have, in the past, entered into this type of agreement. However, the difference this time is that past agreements were annual agreements. And what tonight's action does, the agreement grants engineering the authority to coordinate with the Department of Correction as to where we'll go get the trees, how many they can take, and then this resolution will renew annually without further action by the City Council.
Move to approve, Anderson.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Anderson's made a motion to approve item 38, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
This passed 7-0. Item 39.
A resolution abating and refunding front foot assessments for the street maintenance fees and at parcel numbers 15675 and 15676.
Good evening again, Mayor and City Council. Mark Cotter with the Office of Public Works. This is a new item for the City Council to review tonight. And so prior to us starting, let me say some setup points. We are introducing this on behalf of the taxpayer, James Ekholm. that would abate or refund all or any part that the City Council finds is in excess of a valid, just, fair, equitable assessment. This property was annexed into the city in November of 2007. And Mike Cooper will also be here tonight to speak to some of these items as well. One of the components that we do annually is, regardless of land use, if you are annexed into the city limits, the city, per ordinance 38-31, levies annually a frontage foot fee. This property has a frontage foot fee of $1,320. There is a special benefit to this property with this fee. The frontage fee is levied, has been levied for many years, and only accounts for approximately a third of the revenue required to run the street department. As we assess all properties in the city of Sioux Falls, that collection is approximately $4.5 million, our street department budget, which not only maintains the streets, moves the snow, and takes care of the street maintenance, has a 2012 budget of $14.2 million. Planning and Public Works have worked very closely with Jim for nearly a year now, and Jim is also here tonight to present his findings and his points on this. I will tell you that when this property was annexed, it was at one time not joined, and so as the county looks at property, if it is deemed ag, meaning equal to or greater than 40 acres, that allows for no drainage fee per state law. We suggested that he go to the county, join the two parcels. Joined together, they are 78 acres, and then administratively we were able to remove the drainage fee per state law. However, the street frontage fee is still an item of contention for Jim, and you are the only body that can actually waive that. Before Mike Cooper comes up, I will tell you that we have certainly studied this in depth. It's been, as I've said, nearly a year. It is our recommendation in Public Works that you deny this request. Mike Cooper.
Thank you, Mark. Just to give a little more background of this particular area, and I will just start out by saying that Mr. Echolm has been extremely patient and cooperative since we've started talking about this particular situation. As Mark Cutter indicated, this was annexed some time ago, and it was approved for commercial development in anticipation of a third Walmart that was looking at locating in Sioux Falls. At that time, we recommended approval of commercial zoning because we believed it was a good location, and we still do today, that this has substantial potential for a major commercial corridor along the north side of the city limits. Prior to the 2008 recession really starting to hit home, we were going through some major annexation requests. We were getting a number of petitions for annexations, and we were annexing 3 to 4 square miles of vacant land per year. This particular area was one of those. And when we annex large tracts of land, one of the mechanisms that we have the ability to do is to place them by city council action into what we call a rural service district. And essentially that means that as long as the property continues to be used as agricultural land, it can be assessed as agricultural land rather than non-agricultural land. And so we have, right now, based on our information, within the current city limits, we have approximately 5,300 acres of land, 5,300 acres of land within that agricultural assessment category. So it's not unusual that land that gets annexed remains vacant, remains used as agricultural for some time. It could be a residential development, it could be a commercial development. Unfortunately, in this particular area, I think you'll hear from Mr. Eckholm that he was anticipating that there was going to be a fairly quick turnaround of selling this property for development. And of course, that has not happened. So we understand his concern, his dilemma, and that's one of the reasons why we've tried to work with him as much as we can, including waiving the drainage fees. But now, as Mark said, this is the first time that you as the council will be asked to consider waiving the street assessment fee. And one of the concerns that we have as staff is that, again, we have many, many other acres of land that are kind of in the same situation where they're in somewhat of a holding pattern for development. And so if we start to waive fees, is there going to be a process that we use to determine how that is done? Is there going to be a policy that we come up with? Are we going to end up with requests for property to be removed from the city limits? And then that could potentially make it more challenging for us to plan for the coordination of future utilities, for streets and other infrastructure. So there's a lot of ramifications that I think you need to keep in mind as you consider how to deal with this item tonight. But again, this is kind of a unique situation. And again, we could put together an exhibit to show you where these other 5,300 acres are located, and they're dispersed throughout the entire city limits. But it's an issue that, again, will be kind of interesting to see how you want to deal with this tonight. Do you have any questions from me for that long explanation?
Mr. Cooper, I was going to ask, could we have Mr. Eckholm
Sure.
speak before the council asks any questions, just in case?
I'll be happy to come back.
Maybe some of those questions will be answered by Mr. Eckholm. Mr. Eckholm, would you mind coming forward? Thank you. If you could just introduce yourself to the people of Sioux Falls, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Council members, staff that I've attended over the last year and a half, 2 years. I'm Jim Eckholm. I'm a native of Sioux Falls. I represent the Elizabeth Eckholm Family Trust, my mother's trust, my father's estate, and my Aunt Beverly's living trust. Little background, this farm was purchased in 1912 by my grandparents, James and Matilda Griffith. It's been farmed continuously since then. It was a horsepower farm. They raised all of the traditional things that little farms did. It was a long ways to Sioux Falls when I was a child. In fact, the egg sign, I don't know if any of you remember the Shriver signs that were out in front of every farm for about 15 miles out of Sioux Falls on every road. But there was an egg sign that had a little piece of slate in it, and you wrote the price of your eggs or whatever you had to sell in that sign. And below, it always showed the mileage to the Shriver's store at 11th and Phillips in Sioux Falls. This farm was 6 miles out of the city of Sioux Falls when I was a child. Now we're inside the city limits. All of that to say I'm still proud to be a member of the family of Sioux Falls. I consider myself a Sioux Falls native, and we are quite proud to have this land available for the commercial development that almost happened, and I'm proud to have it a part of the city of Sioux Falls and showing on that map. In January of 2007, I think you got the timeline. I had this all on a thumb drive here, but I guess we're not allowed to use the equipment, so those of you that are don't have it quite centered. Okay. We had the land under contract to Walmart. We'd been working with them for a couple of years prior to that. I had talked with Mayor Munson, and Mike was aware that this was something that would be of benefit to the city of Sioux Falls. BFA Engineering began work on the project. We did all the land testing, soil borings, the EPA testing, and I notified our land renters and farmhouse renter, we did have a farmhouse on the property at that time, that they were going to be off the land before the start of 2008. We filed a petition for annexation. At that point, there was a considerable sum that had been spent on all the development. All the plans were done for that store. All of the traffic flows and everything were completed, and that annexation petition was filed. And we were told at that point that the taxes would be about $2,200, which was $600 increase over what we had been paying to Minnehaha County. That wasn't a big issue because we intended to have the property sold under somebody else's authority early in 2008, certainly by the midpoint of 2008. November of 2007, front page of Argus, some of you may remember that. Our heart jumped when we saw the full headline and the picture of the new store. And it took just a little over 40 days, and Walmart slashed 300 stores, and ours was one of them. And we'd already contracted to have the farmhouse moved, so it went, along with the little meager rent we were getting off that. And then in December of 2008, a year later, both my mom and dad passed away. So I had my hands full during 2009. January 2010, I was in the hospital getting my misspent youth corrected with a new knee. And I opened up the tax bill that had just been forwarded to me, and I was screamed for the medics to come because I saw a tax bill for $5,399.99 instead of the $2,200 that had been expected. And so I contacted Mike Cooper, and we got Kurt Struck back with me, and it was a drainage fee and a maintenance fee issue, and there was a little adjustment in the mill levy, which we had expected, but this was quite a shock. So we started general correspondence back and forth, and I got to meet many other people on the staff, and I'll tell you, I'm very proud to have the staff that you have here in the city of Sioux Falls. They did a good job, and this is a new territory for this particular problem, and I do appreciate the interface that I was offered. In fact, Miss Beck was a champion there a couple of times, too, in a previous assignment, and I'm glad to be able to see you tonight, too. But anyway, we got a proposal on the 25th of June to remove the drainage fees, and the rural service district would be created, and it would reduce the taxes down and the fees down to $2,605. And my comment was it's higher than expected, but better than going through de-annexation, which I really don't want to do. I don't think that's to the benefit of any of us. So I was instructed to petition for a rural service district inclusion. I got that centered now. You'll have to kick me whenever. It would have been a lot easier to. Okay, so I filed that. It was underway. I was checking back and forth with the city. November 19th, I was back down in Florida. I'm a legal resident of Florida, but I spend about 6 months a year up at a lake here in South Dakota. And I was told that the meeting had been rescheduled for December the 1st. And December 13th, I got the news that the farm designation had changed, and now to be a farm, you had to have 40 continuous acres. Well, the front part of that property was sliced off in 1949, again in 56, 78, and 99 for South Dakota Highway 38. Those two properties were never joined together for whatever reason, I don't know, but when my grandparents bought it, it was two separate parcels of land. They bought it from Johnny Lifto in 1912, and it was always that way. So we had a little gotcha here, and it was recommended that I have them joined for taxing purposes. I met with John Cole down at the Minnehaha County, and we did that on December 20th. And then we had some more emails and phone calls, and I got some instructions on how to appeal for an abatement in April, and that was something that had already been done. I was on my way up here on May the 6th, and I met with Chad, Sam, and Andy, and was told that the appeal was going forward without staff recommendation. I asked why, and well, we talked about the economic factors. May 22nd, I got a phone call, and it said that it was probably going to go forward with staff recommendation. I took it was, I guess, meant to be it may go forward with staff recommendation, but it was not. And July 15th, it was not presented to the City Council, so that brings us right to where we are today, the 15th of August. Now, I want to go through some of the economic facts that we're looking at, because I think they are important to the city who supports business inside the city limits. Our total rental income on this property is $7,500. We're a cash renter. I don't have a $200,000 combine. I don't have a $50,000 tractor, and I don't intend to get out on one and start farming it myself. $7,500 is what we get as total income off this property. I had to spend $800 for a security firm to try to catch the guy that has been dumping tree trimmings on the property. I contacted the city police, and they told me it was in the rural area and they weren't going to do any patrols on rural land or on private land. So I had to take this up with a private company. Net income from farming operations in 2009, $6,700. City of Sioux Falls took $53.99.99, leaving us with $1,300.01. That was before it was divided up 50% to my aunt, 25% to me, and 25% to my brother, and the IRS got their cut out of it then. So you can see that this basically was in one pocket, out the other. We got a little bit, not enough to pay for this presentation. City of Sioux Falls took 80% of the income that we had off this property. This is a farm. It's 100% agricultural. There's no other business on the farm. No farm can support this level of taxation. The tax bill was $1,613.83 before annexation. The street in front was maintained by somebody. The drainage into Cherry Creek has been happening since the glacier went through 20,000 years ago. And the tax bill now is $53.99.99, an increase of $37.86.16. And I get no benefit over what we had before when we were part of Minnehaha County, even though I am still proud to have it annexed into the city of Sioux Falls. So what I'm asking is that the economics be looked at. This farm is a business. It's 100% agricultural. If the city of Sioux Falls is going to have farmland inside the limits of the city, then it has to be looked at as supporting that farm business. This isn't like a retail business, a gas station, or anybody else that has limited frontage and has the ability to raise prices to cover whatever expense we have. We have a fixed rental agreement, and that is it's nice when everything goes well, but it certainly can't give us an ROI. Someday, the use of this land will change, and it'll be to the benefit of the city of Sioux Falls. We were very, very disappointed to have Walmart pull out. I think that would have been something that would have benefited the city as well as the citizens of Sioux Falls. And I respectfully ask your support for removal of the street fee. The drainage fee is supposedly, and I believe, going to be refunded. It has not as of yet, so I put it in here just so it's on the table. Questions?
Council, do you have any questions of Mr. Echolm or Mark or Mike? Yes, Councilor Brown.
Mr. Echolm, thank you for being here tonight. First of all, long-term, I assume you want this land developed into something like the Walmart or some sort of commercial development?
I think that's the proper thing for land that's in that location. I don't think it lends itself well for housing. It's kind of on the fringe. It has the bordering interstates there, and I think that's the proper thing at some point.
In 2007, before it was annexed into the city, what was the value of the land then? From the county's perspective, how did they value it? What was the?
I don't know what the assessed valuation is. I know what the tax bill was. It was $1,613.
So you don't know what the value was at that time?
I don't know what the valuation was.
Do you know what the value is today?
As far as
what the county says it's worth?
No, I've got it in my briefcase, I think.
Okay.
I've got what the valuation is on the tax receipt anyway.
Thank you.
Councilor Rolfing.
Am I reading this map right? Are you right up next to the county highway department?
No, we're a half mile to the east of the county highway department. If Career Drive that runs right through the public university, we're extended up to where it will be.
Okay.
That would be on the west border of our property. It stubs right there at 60th and the.
You're way west.
No, we're east. The highway department is west.
Highway department is here. You're right on the, you're east, you're,
Right.
okay, got you, you're right at, kind of on that corner, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Okay. Okay. You've got that property sitting there, and you don't know what it's worth?
Well, I know what I'd like to sell it for, but that has nothing to do with what it's able to produce at this point. You know, until you sell something, you don't establish a market worth. I'm sure it's worth a lot more than the assessed valuation, but that doesn't put any money in my pocket. At some point it will, and when it does, the tax man's going to be there first, believe me.
So in essence, kind of what you're asking us to do is to pay for the road in front of you.
Well, the road was paid for at some point in the past, and the state's been maintaining it, or Minnehaha County's been maintaining it out of the $1,613 that I was paying. If that was part of that issue, I assume that the county had responsibility for it. It's State Highway 38.
Before we took over. Has there been any improvements on that road since we
No.
bought it?
Well, there's been improvements since I was a little child, but I mean the whole thing changed when Highway 38 was put in. First as a gravel highway, then it's 2-lane, then it's 4-lane. Now it's 6-lane.
That's not Highway 38 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60th Street North.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
The public university across the street is the one that uses it probably the most, and anybody that's out in Hartford or out that way.
Yeah, going straight west,
Yeah.
right.
None of our farm
Past the
equipment
airport.
accesses the farm land through that street. They all come through the back side. They can't move their equipment in off of 60th Street at all.
Councilor Anderson, Jr.
And a question for Mike Cooper, please.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike. In the presentation, the gentleman has just given us a city proposal of June 25th, removal of drainage fees, rural service district, and reduced street fees, changes tax bill to 2605, is what he has in the presentation here. Would that be correct? Or if we remove the drainage fees, what would his tax bill become then?
I'll have to defer to.
Am I asking the
You have
wrong
that
person?
calculation?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I don't have that calculation.
Okay.
I can, the drainage fee on both properties together is approximately $2,100 per year until we suggested that he actually go to the county and join them. And then per state law, once the county deems it as ag, we waived that fee. So it reduced that, I believe, $5,300 number down that amount immediately. And remember, before we started this, there was an existing tax bill. So it was approximately $2,100 per year to relieve the drainage fee.
I guess my question was along the same lines on the removal of the drainage fees and reduced street fee changes. I mean, do we have an option for reducing street fees, or is that just...
Counselor, we do not. Our ordinance is very clear. It's regardless of land use, and this is zoned through the process. It is zoned commercial once it matures into a more dense land use. It's taxed today at agricultural, but regardless of land use, we charge $1 per front foot because people do have a benefit. That particular road up there is in my view, a very nice concrete road, median divided, and one that we do need to maintain, not only from a snow removal standpoint, a sweeping standpoint, all those levels.
And paid for by who?
And paid for by the community, right?
Councilor Karski?
Yes, sir. Jim, right? Do you now, or did you ever have, or did anyone ever have an option to buy on this property?
Yes.
Is there an existing one right now?
There is not an option that is open at this moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilor Aguilar?
You did ask for it to be annexed in then?
Yes, we asked for that annexation to take place in August of 2007, and that was pending the Walmart development. But that annexation was requested in August of 2007.
Can I ask one?
Please.
So you said that your tax bill, $5,399.99, and you call it city taxes. Are these like the property taxes so that not
Correct.
all of it goes to the city? Some goes to the county and some goes to the school district?
It is, yeah, it's what's on my tax bill, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Councilor Henneman.
For Mr. Cotter, I'm still kind of confused here. He's got a tax bill now of $53.99, and that's before you remove the drainage, or is that with the drainage removed?
I've not seen his tax bill, but if we remove the drainage fee, that's approximately $2,100.
The drainage fee is $2,100.
That's correct. When you join those two properties, so he could certainly confirm that. And then the street frontage fee, what's in front of you tonight, is $1,320.
Just got just a quick question. Before a citizen asks to be annexed into the city of Sioux Falls, are they given any instructions on what could potentially happen?
They are, and those activities initiate from the planning department. So while he's sourcing that, Mike, do you want to speak to that?
Mike, could you explain that to the people of Sioux Falls, please?
There is a process according to state law and city ordinance that a petitioner, property owner, can file a request to be annexed. And when we get those kind of requests, we go through a staff review, essentially asking what the landowner is proposing to do with the property. We look at what the current impacts would be of annexation, whether it's future street improvements or utility improvements. And so we do go through a review, because not only do we want the landowner to identify what impacts are going to have from the landowner's perspective, but also if the city's going to be asked in the next year or 2 or 5 years to provide improvements such as streets or utilities, then we need to let the council know that before you approve annexation, that we have to be able to accommodate those future requests. So we do go through an analysis prior to every annexation.
Ms. Cooper, as part of that analysis, do you talk about taxation?
We talk about fees, taxes,
Thank you.
infrastructure cost, all of
Councilor
this.
Anderson Jr.
Mike, on this, or Mark, is it our intent to waive the drainage fees for this person to allow them a little relief?
It is our intent, and it's per state law. And so it's not only a relief, it is per the law. And the reason we did not request the finance department to send Jim a check is with this unresolved, we thought we would just make it one check. And so our recommendation still stands to deny the request.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Brown.
Unless, if you have a question, I'm ready for a motion.
Well, I have one question.
Okay.
Councilor Bach. Thank you, Councilor Brown.
Mr. Cooper, would you, one more thing, please? This is just kind of actually two parts. One, we just talked about some annexation things recently where we talked about the idea that state law requires us to annex in chunks so that things make sense. We don't get little pieces here and there. Is that correct? I'm saying it terribly, but
no, that's chunks means contiguous.
Yes,
There you
yes.
go.
Good.
Yes. Obviously, there's a reason that a property needs to be contiguous before it can be annexed, for the continuity of extending future utilities or street improvements.
And then remind me
and development patterns.
Right, and remind me again, you said it earlier, but how many thousands of acres are we talking about that are exactly the same way as these 73 or whatever?
We currently have 5,300 acres of land within the city limits that are being assessed as agricultural property.
Good, thank
which
you.
means it's undeveloped.
Right, thank you.
Councilor Brown.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve for the sake of discussion, and I'd like to address the motion if I do get a second.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Brown's made a motion to approve this item. Second by Councilor Erpenbach. Councilor Brown.
Jim, thank you for being here. We do really appreciate you presenting your story. Bottom line is, you asked the annexation, and that kicked in obligations for the city to do development and maintenance and projects like that. And that's a risk you take when you ask for that annexation. I understand what you're saying in terms of the ag piece of it, but this property is one of the more valuable pieces of property in Sioux Falls, and long-term you stand to benefit from that, and through the annexation that you asked for, you stand to benefit for that. So with that, I would ask the council to vote no on this.
Council, if there's no further discussion, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar,
No.
Anderson,
No.
Brown,
No.
Entman,
No.
Erpenbach,
No.
Karski,
No.
Rolfing.
No.
That has failed 0-7. Item 40.
A resolution approving the Sioux Falls Convention and Visitors Bureau Business Improvement District's budget, $1,503,500.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Inman.
I'd like to speak to this if I might.
Please.
This is, if you remember, when we approved the CVB's budget the first time, it was a budget that was approved through September. They run a fiscal budget tied in with that of the chamber, not an annual budget. So as such, this is, the budget's been worked out for the coming year, the next 12 months. This is our budget. We will be back again in September or in August of next year. The CVB will be for budget approval again. So as part of the bid ordinance that was passed, they are just submitting their budget for the year in conjunction with the city budget, which will be approved here shortly, or down the road in a month or two.
I would move approval. Rolfing.
Second, Anderson.
Been a motion by Councilor Rolfing to approve item number 40, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Is there any discussion on this item? Councilor Aguilar.
Counselor Entman, I was wondering if you could remind us what the budget was for this partial year.
I believe it was 1.2 million was what we figured out the total budget would be if it was based on a calendar year. I might just add that we will be addressing, and I will be sending to Tracy, and we've already talked about it. It was the intent of the council when we passed the bid that some dollars would be turned back to the city, of course. They are unencumbered funds. And we will get that information for the council here by the end of this week.
Thank you.
Council, if there is no further discussion, there has been a motion made. A roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entman,
Yes?
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 41.
A communication was received from Daniel Jamison requesting permission to consume but not sell liquor, wine, and malt beverages at the Multicultural Center, 515 North Main Avenue on Saturday, August 27, 2011, from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. for a wedding reception.
Mayor, I have to excuse myself.
Okay, Councilor Anderson Jr. is going to excuse himself on this particular item.
Move to approve. Brown.
Second, Erpenbach.
There's been a motion by Councilor Brown, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this item? Council, any further questions or comments?
Does anybody know this is Daniel Jamison?
Was that a question of me, Councilor?
I was just wondering if it, it kind of walked in, so I was just wondering if maybe we should.
No one can answer that question?
Okay.
City Council, roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entman,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
That has passed 6-0. City Council, any further discussion tonight?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Enneman.
I just, we received a communication from Terry Ellis Schmidt concerning the hotel tax, and I'm happy to tell everybody that the May 2011 hotel tax was 19% above what it was last year at the same time. So it looks like our hotel tax collections are continuing on a positive note for the year.
Thank you, Councilor Rolfing.
And we also received a memo from her about receiving a bid that we are going to have in 2014. Was it 14 or 15? A huge, very, very large convention that she secured here for Sioux Falls. So it's working. It's working.
Thank you. Council, thank you very much for your efforts. Is there a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
So moved. Entman.
Second, Brown.
Councilor Enneman's made that motion, seconded by Councilor Brown. Roll call vote, please.
Councilors Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson? Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Thank you, councilors. That has passed 7-0.
but I want
People of Sioux Falls, thank you very much for your attention tonight. City Council, thank you for your work. Make it a great, great night. This meeting is adjourned.